What's up, YouTube? Today we're reviewing the 2021 Ram 3500 Limited Longhorn. Huge thank you to Jesus Yepez over at Koons, Tysons, Chevy, Buick, GMC for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you're interested in this particular Ram 3500 or any of the cool used car inventory that they have on their lot, I'll be sure to have his information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the exterior and performance. And like I said, this is a 2021 Ram 3500 Limited Longhorn, and this particular one is painted in flame red. But let's start over here at our headlamps. You do have LED daytime running lights as well as LED headlamps. You get your LED turn signals down in here, and at the bottom of your front bumper you do find your LED fog lamps. But let's move to the center of the front grille. As you guys can see, you have your Longhorn specific front grille with your Ram lettering that goes across the center of that. Pretty much everything up here is in chrome, but it really accents the flame red color very, very nicely. But let's move to the bottom of the front bumper. Like I already pointed out, you do have your LED fog lamps down here, but you do have this black trim piece that surrounds them, which is where you will find your forward facing sensors. As you guys can see, pretty much go all the way across your front bumper. You also do have a tow hook right here on your driver's side and a tow hook right here on your passenger side. But let's take a step back, look at the truck. As you guys can see, you also do have your cab lights atop up there, which if you're getting one of these trucks, cab lights are definitely a must. But moving over here, you guys can see this is a Ram 3500 with a chrome trim piece surrounding that 3500 lettering. 3500 lettering is in chrome, heavy duty is in red. You do have your flame red fender flares right here, and you also do have a 17-inch aluminum wheel right there that's wrapped in a 235/80 R17 Nexen Rhodian HTX tire. These are all seasons, and we'll show you guys that tread pattern right there along with your heavy duty suspension right in there. This thing rides very, very well considering it is a 3500 truck, but we'll talk about that when we move into the driving portion of the review. You guys do have your Cummins turbo diesel badge right here on your front fender. You will find that on the other side, on the other front fender as well. Moving over to here, you do have your chrome mirror caps atop the mirrors as well as your integrated turn signal, which is right there. You also do have blind spot monitoring at the upper left hand corner on the driver's side and upper right hand corner on the passenger side. That also does come with cross traffic detection. But what's nice about these mirrors is that you have a regular mirror right here and like a fisheye type mirror right here, so if you got a wide load, it's easier to see what you're pulling. But you do have chrome window surrounds at the bottom of these two windows, as well as the bottom of the other two windows on the other side. You do have your flame red door handles with a chrome trim piece that dissects the middle of the door handle right there. And you might see that you do have a button right here on the driver door handle, which locks the vehicle. However, you do have keyless access, so if you do want to get into the vehicle, all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, put your hand behind here, and it will unlock the vehicle. Moving to the bottom of the front door, you do have your Ram logo right there as well as your Limited Longhorn logo right there, which looks super sweet. But at the bottom of the side two doors, you do have your chrome running boards with Ram written out at the middle, which basically is divided by these two doors, so it's right there smack dab in the middle. As you guys might be able to note, that this is a crew cab, this is not a mega cab, and this is an 8-foot bed as well. You do have your side marker lights because this vehicle is super thick. I mean, you guys can see how wide those hips are. You definitely need that side marker light, and you also do have another side marker light right there as well. But to fill up your DEF and diesel tank, this is where you fill up your DEF, this is where you fill up your diesel. 17-inch wheels. If you guys do want to get the dual rear wheels, that is a $1,495 option. You also do have a $295 50-gallon fuel tank, which if you're getting a truck this big, might as well spend that extra 300 bucks and get the 50-gallon fuel tank, because that'll extend your range tremendously from that 35-gallon fuel tank that comes standard. But you do have LED tail lamps as well as LED turn signals, LED backup light right there, and this is for your blind spot monitoring system. Limited Longhorn badge right here. You got your Ram badge at the center of the tailgate as well as your 4x4 badge on the bottom right hand corner of your tailgate. Moving over here to the center of the tailgate, this is where you would open up the tailgate, but you might see that you do have a rear view camera right there. Pushing this button in here, you do have a dampened tailgate, as you guys can tell. And you also do have a spray in bed liner with your LED box lighting right there, as well as right there. and it does utilize those 2 lights up top there as well. You also do have a 400-watt power outlet right there, so if you guys want to run your tools or charge up your tools, you guys can do that, as well as a couple different tie down spots. So you have 4 of these surrounding the entire bed, as well as 4 of these cleats that you might find when you're boating, that are also 4 throughout the entire bed. But folding this up, it's a very light tailgate, which is very nice. As you guys can see, your rear bumpers are chrome, but just below your chrome rear bumpers, you guys can see this plastic trim piece that houses your rear view sensors. So you got one sensor there, sensor here, here, as well as over here, which makes it a little bit easier when you're backing into a parking spot. It basically lets you know where the truck is, so you're not just relying on your rear view camera. But let's get into the max tow capacity. So the max tow capacity of this particular truck is 34,207 pounds, and your max payload is 5,207 pounds. This particular truck is optioned with the 410 rear axle ratio, which is a $145 option. So if you guys are towing heavy trailers, that might be an option you might want to get. But let's take a look from the rear, and I want to show you guys just how thick she is back here. You guys can see super thick. So she's definitely got a nice booty on her. But before we move into performance, I wanted to do a 360-degree walk around of the truck, just because this thing looks super awesome. It's one of the best looking heavy duty trucks that I've seen, and this one here is a really nice spec. So if you guys want to pick it up, like I said, I'll have Jesus's information in the description box down below. But with that said, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that $12,195 6.7 liter inline 6 Cummins high output turbo diesel motor that makes 400 horsepower and 1,075 pound-feet of torque. That's made it to a 6-speed automatic Eisen transmission for a 0 to 60 time of 7.2 seconds. One other thing that I thought I might add for those of you guys who are interested is that when you option for the $12,195 6.7 liter Cummins high output motor, you also do have a 220 amp alternator that comes with that package. But if you guys are enjoying today's video so far, please give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning for 10,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without your guys' help. So if you guys would help me get to my goal, I'd greatly appreciate it. So yeah, please hit that subscribe button. Please give this video a big thumbs up. But with that said, let's move into the interior. Moving into the interior, like I said, you do have keyless access. So all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, come up to the vehicle, put your hand behind here, and it will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by pushing that button. But a few things that the key fob can do is you can lock the vehicle and remote start the vehicle by pushing that button twice. The vehicle will fire up. I already did it, so that's why it's not doing it right now. But clicking this button twice also drops your tailgate back there as well. But moving into the interior, like I said, just have your key fob in your pocket or somewhere on you. Put your hand behind there and it will open up to reveal your beautiful door panel right here with your black leather, as well as your cattle tan leather with your striped wood door panel. It looks super premium. As you guys can see, striped wood, some gold trim piece right here. You have your crocodile type leather material right there, gold colored door handle right there with your black leather on your armrest, some of that cattle tan accented stitching, gold trim piece right there. Just a really premium feeling door panel. But the rest of the door panel down here is made out of plastic. This is for your 17 speaker Harman Kardon sound system, and you do have a gold trim piece that surrounds that speaker right there. But you got a place to set your phone in there. And moving down to here, you got 2 cup holders, as you guys can see. You also do have a ton of storage space right over here as well. You can fit a small umbrella, tape measures, really whatever you want to put down in there, you guys can fit. But you do have 2 memory seat adjustment settings right here. You do have automatic up and down front windows, but you do not have automatic up or down rear windows. This is to lock your rear windows so nobody can open them. Power folding side view mirrors, like I said. Push that button and they fold in. Push that button again and they fold out, as you guys can see. But I want to show you guys the rest of the interior. Cattle tan leather with your Limited Longhorn patch right there, looks super premium. You do have your perforated leather seats with some of that black leather on the side bolsters as well as down here as well. Like I said, just looks super premium and luxurious, especially considering that this is a Ram 3500 truck and not a Mercedes. But moving over to here, this is to turn your headlights off, daytime running lights on, headlights on automatic. This is for your fog lamps up front, and this is for your LED box lighting. So I push that button right there and your LED box lighting comes on, as you guys can see. Push that button again, box lighting turns off. This is for your pedal adjustments, so you can bring your pedals closer to you or you can push your pedals away from you. This is to turn on that power outlet that is in the bed. You have your emergency brake right here, emergency brake release right there. These buttons right here control the brightness of the lights on the interior as well as the brightness of your gauges right here. HVAC vent grab handle right here that is leather wrapped, as you guys can see. But one more thing before we step in is that you do have this brushed aluminum Ram door sill right here, which looks beautiful on this truck. Makes it feel, like I said, just that much more premium, as well as you have these beautiful Limited Longhorn edition floor mats. You guys can see you kind of got that barbed wire on your floor mats. Just adds to the Western feel of this truck. But I'm gonna start this truck up and I'm gonna move it to a different spot before we talk about the rest of the interior. Otherwise, you guys are gonna have a hard time seeing what I'm talking about because of that sun glare. So let's skip to that. All right, now we are in position. As you guys can see, you do have your black leather wrapped steering wheel with some wood trim at the top of it, some more wood trim right here at the bottom of the steering wheel. Got your Ram logo right there. These buttons control what's going on in that screen right there, so you can go through your speedometer. You got your screen set up, messages, audio, trailer tow information, trip information, fuel economy, off-road screen right there, as well as vehicle information. And I just like to keep it on the digital speedometer. As you guys can see, you have your fuel range right over there, ambient exterior temperature, as well as a compass right there. This is your battery information right down there, as well as your oil pressure right there. But moving over to here, this is to tell you how much DEF you have in your tank. You do have your analog RPM gauge as well as your analog speedometer. But this gauge cluster right here is Limited Longhorn specific. As you guys can see, you got the little elements of the Limited Longhorn right there, and as well as just around the gauge. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick it up, but you have a different type of trim piece that surrounds both the RPM gauge as well as the speedometer, but looks really good. Analog speedometer as well as your analog fuel gauge right there. You got your Ram logo right at the top of the gauge cluster. Moving up top here, you guys do have a leather wrapped dash, which looks super premium, and it just makes the interior feel that much more luxurious. There's a reason why this thing is #1 in its class. More of that wood trim right here. You have some more of that striped wood and gold trim over here, as well as your hand branded Longhorn logo right there. Looks super awesome, and like I said, just adds to the Western feel of this truck. But moving over to here, this is where your 4-wheel drive selector is. So you do have 2-wheel drive as well as 4-wheel drive low, as well as 4-wheel drive high, and by pushing that button, that puts you in your true neutral right there. 4x4, like I said, this vehicle does have 4-wheel drive. You do have a leather wrapped gear shifter right here, which feels super premium. But if I had to give this thing one little knock, it's that you do have like this turn signal right here, but the turn signal stock itself is just really cheap, and it really doesn't go with the rest of the interior because the rest of the interior is so upscale. So this is one little spot where they did cheap out a little bit. Anyway, moving back over to here, you guys notice that you do have a 12-inch infotainment screen, and that is because this vehicle does have the $3,745 Longhorn Level 1 equipment group, which comes with 17-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, 12-inch infotainment screen right here, as well as a wireless charging pad. Down here, you also get your blind spot monitoring with tag, trailer, and cross path detection. You also do have a power driver as well as a power passenger seat. Moving back over to the screen, you do have Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. However, it is via a wired connection, so you do not have wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. But like I said, you'd have tons and tons of that striped wood interior trim as well as some of that gold interior trim right there. And you'd have tons and tons of that cattle tan accent colored stitching, which looks absolutely fantastic. And through the speaker system, this does have active noise cancellation, which makes it a lot quieter here on the interior. But if you guys can hear, The motor is pretty freaking quiet, so it's definitely not obnoxious by any means. But let's move over here to our infotainment screen. You do have your hazard button right there, as well as your traction control button right over there. You do have your climate control stuff at the left side, as well as on the upper right hand side of your infotainment screen. You have a volume knob right here, as well as your tuning knob over there. Just below the tuning knob is the screen off button. If you touch anywhere on the screen pops back up. You also do have a mute button right here. At the bottom of all that, you do have your integrated trailer braking system right there, as well as your tow haul mode, forward facing parking sensors, as well as your rear parking sensors to turn those things on or off. And this is your exhaust brake button. So push that button and your full exhaust brake is on. You can also turn on automatic exhaust brake if you so desire, but let's keep that off because I'm not towing anything. But moving down to here, you got 2 USB-A ports, as well as 2 USB-C ports, and an aux jack at the center of both of them. You got a spot where you could set your phone down in there, as well as your spot where you can set your phone while it's charging on the wireless charging pad right there. Another spot to set your phone down even if you're not charging it. So I can set my phone down in there if I can grab it and set it right there and basically have it sit there while I'm driving. And I can scoot this back for a little bit more room. But moving down to here, you do have a 400-watt household outlet right down there, as well as tons and tons of storage space down in here. And if you don't want this to be storage space and you want your cup holders, just slide this forward and you got 2 cup holders right here, as well as some more storage space in here for your coins or hand sanitizer, whatever you want to put down in there. But if you guys don't want to see any of that and you want it to look just super premium, you do have your striped wood trim if you have both of these things closed. Opening them up, like I said, cup holders and some more storage space. But moving over here to your leather wrapped center console, you do have that crocodile type material here at the center of that, as well as your leather wrapped on both the left and right hand side of this center console with that accent colored stitching that goes down the center of that. Opening this up, you have a USB-A port right there, as well as tons and tons of storage space at the top of this. But if you guys want more storage space, you just open this thing up. You got more storage space at the bottom down here. If you guys want storage space to go all the way through, so you guys can access what's up here down under here, you guys can do that. Or you can flip this little trim piece up down in here, and that stuff won't go flying throughout the entire center console. You guys can kind of have it blocked off right there. But about a forearm deep, so tons and tons of storage space down in there for whatever you want to put. As you guys can see, this is a working man's truck, so you guys have like a ruler, as well as all this different stuff, like I said, just for you working guys. But closing that, let's move up top here. You guys have a 12-volt power outlet with some storage space right up top here. Harman Kardon speaker right there, as well as Harman Kardon tweeter right there, as well as over there, speakers down at the bottom of the doors right there. But moving into this screen, it's a very good working system. You guys can see I got my heated steering wheel as well as my heated seat on. So if I go into controls, I can turn them off. You have 3 adjustments between your heated seats. You got high, medium, and low, as well as your ventilated seats. You got high, medium, and low. But on your heated steering wheel, it's either on or off. You can go into your mirror dimmer, so if you guys want your auto dimming rear view mirror on or off, you guys can select that right there, and that is where your auto dimming rear view mirror is. Moving back down to here, push this button, you can bring up your backup camera while you are driving. But yeah, that's just a couple of the cool things that you can do. You also have your climate control through here, but if you don't want to mess with your climate control right here, you got your climate control buttons, like I said, on the upper part of your Uconnect screen. But moving over to here, you do have your universal garage door opener. Opening this up, you also do have your vanity mirror with 2 lights on the left hand and right hand side of it. You do have a spot to set your sunglasses up right up there. LED lights in here. By pushing these 2 buttons, these are your reader lights. Push that button again, push that button again, they turn off. You guys want all the interior lights on, this is the button you would press, and all the interior lights turn on. As you can see, by pushing that button, they turn off. This button right here is so if you open up the door, the lights will come on, as you guys can see. However, if you push that button again and you open up the doors, the lights will not turn on here in the interior. So we'll keep that on. SOS and assistance features right there. This is for your sliding rear view window, as you guys can see. Opening and closing it. You do have a upper glove box up here, which is one of the biggest upper glove boxes personally that I've seen. You can fit tons and tons of stuff. It's basically a glove box in itself, a legit sized glove box in itself up top here. There is your stamped Limited Longhorn. Looks awesome. Kind of looks like Longhorn Steakhouse, to be honest. It's pretty cool. But down here, this is where you'll find your glove box, which is pretty small. So definitely this upper glove box makes up for the lower glove box being pretty small. You can only fit like your owner's manual, some napkins, and maybe some straws down in there, but that's definitely not that big. But let's move into those rear seats, and I'll show you guys what's going on back here. Opening this up, same type material that's used on the front door panel is used here on the rear. So just like the front, very, very premium feeling door panel, and it's just very, very comfortable. And that's something that if you get in like a Ford, you do not have as much padding as you do here in this Ram. Accent stitching, you guys know, this is the exact same door panel that's in the front. It's just a little bit smaller, and you got a little bit less storage space down here. But you do have a spot to set your phone. Like I said, you do not have automatic up or down windows, but you do have that gold trim that surrounds your Harman Kardon speaker right there. And like I showed you guys, a good amount of storage space, but definitely less storage space at the bottom of this door panel as you would find at the front. Moving back here, again, you have your Limited Longhorn patch right here, as you guys can see. And these seats are just beautiful, man. This cattle tan color is just a beautiful, beautiful color. And I'm definitely a big fan of that. Lifting this up, you guys can see you do have your Ram box. So if you want a spot where you can set stuff where people won't know where you set it, that is a great box to do so. But again, you have this beautiful floor mat, and I know I'm saying a floor mat is beautiful, but it's a really, really nice floor mat with carpeting right here, and the rest of it is rubber. Limited Longhorn badge right there, and you also do have another brushed aluminum door sill right here. But before we step in, you fold these seats up, you guys can see you can fold and make a flat workbench right here, so you can basically do that across the entire rear seat. So that is really cool. So if you guys have something that's not super heavy, but you could definitely probably fit a dog on here or a dog's bed on here, and I don't think that it would break. But you also do have a little light right here, which is another really nice feature. So if it's at night, you guys can see kind of what you're doing back here. But folding this back up and closing that, let's step into the interior. I'm going to use my grab handle right here and step in. So good amount of leg room, good amount of knee room, and a good amount of headroom up top here as well. As you guys can see, very premium seat back pockets right here. Just looks super awesome. And the same goes for this side as well. And this is where your seat back pocket is. So you do have that little belt buckle to make it look fancy. But 2 cup holders back here, as well as 2 USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, and you do have your heated seats back here as well with 3 levels of adjustment. So let's turn those off because nobody's going to be sitting back here. You got a little spot to set your phone when it's charging right there. HVAC vent here, HVAC vent right here. You can turn them off or on, as well as you do have a 400-watt household outlet right there. You also do have another 2 cup holders right here as well. And opening this up, this is your center fold down armrest. You have another 2 cup holders right in here. And let's see how comfortable it is back here in these seats. Very comfortable seats. I would say that the headrest is a little bit forward, however it's still very comfortable. I'm just nitpicking here a little bit, but yeah, very premium feeling interior. Even here from the back, yes, you might not have as much leg room as you would find in like an F250 or an F350, but Ram has a solution to that, and that is the Mega Cab. So if you guys don't think the crew cab has enough leg room or knee room, you might want to look into getting a Mega Cab. But like I said, this one here is a crew cab, but still tons and tons of leg room, tons and tons of knee room, and tons of headroom. I'm 5'9", so I'm not the tallest person in the world. However, I still have a good amount of leg room and a good amount of headroom back here. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, guys, and now on to the driving portion of the review, and that is where this thing surprisingly really shines, because this thing drives very, very smoothly. And you guys can hear the motor's not too loud either, which is fantastic. And I'll do a little just like a regular little acceleration right here just to show you guys. Yes, turning radius isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst either. You guys can hear a little bit of that turbo whistle. Yeah, turning radius isn't the greatest, but it's also not the worst either. It's a huge vehicle, so I mean, what can you expect? You can't expect it to have the turning radius of like a Mini Cooper. So yeah, nothing to complain about when it comes to turning radius, because it is such a large vehicle. But still, regardless, turning radius is very, very good. As you guys can see kind of from the driver's point of view, you guys can see just what a beautiful interior this really is. You guys got your leather wrap dash, leather wrap steering wheel. This is a heated steering wheel. You got your heated seats, ventilated seats, you got your blind spot monitoring. So yeah, I mean, maybe you don't have a 360-degree view camera, but I don't think you really need it, because you do have your backup camera as well as your forward and rear facing sensors. So if you guys are getting one of these and you need a 360-degree view camera to drive or park it, then maybe you probably shouldn't get one of these, because you really need to know how big of a vehicle this is. And if you can't drive it without that 360 cam, like I said, it's probably not the truck for you, because this thing is massive. But coming up to the stoplight here, taking a right, this thing really brakes very, very well. Definitely don't have to put my foot that far into the brake pedal in order to get it to stop. Basically stops right off the bat as soon as you put your foot down in there. It brings it to a stop, which is something that I really like, because on some of these trucks, you really got to put your foot pretty far into the brake pedal in order to get it to stop. However, this truck's a little bit different, and it pretty much stops right at the top of the pedal, which is fantastic. Yes, this is a 3500 heavy duty truck, so yes, you will find it having a firm suspension, but that's kind of what you expect out of a 3500 truck or a 350 Ford. Yeah, you will expect a firm ride, and that's because when you have a huge trailer connected to this thing weighing it down, that's when this thing really rides very, very well. So yeah, if you're not pulling anything, then the suspension is going to be pretty firm. I haven't driven one of these with a 6.4. However, if you're not towing like 30,000 pounds all the time, if you don't have a hot shot job or something like that, then you probably don't need the Cummins, at least the high output Cummins. Maybe you can get the smaller Cummins, or you can get the 6.4, because the 6.4 comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission, whereas this thing comes with a 6-speed Eisen transmission, which still works very, very well. However, I do find it not shifting as well as a 10-speed that's either in a GM car or a GM truck or in a Ford truck. So yeah, you know, regardless of this thing having a firm ride, it still rides very, very well. But let's do a little acceleration here, and obviously this truck isn't built for acceleration, so this doesn't really matter, but we're gonna do a little acceleration anyway. Foot to the floor. Oh man, you can feel that power. Not the quickest thing in the world, but you can feel that torque really build, and once that torque builds, it kind of just takes you. However, comparing this to like a Power Stroke 6.7, I gotta say that the Power Stroke feels definitely quicker upon acceleration. So that's no trailer on an F350 versus no trailer on this. The Power Stroke is definitely a little bit quicker, and you can definitely feel that it's a little bit quicker as well. But driving here on the highway, things very, very smooth. I got my exit right here, but very, very smooth on the highway. Very, very smooth ride, yes. So yeah, very, very smooth ride on the highway just for that short little trip that I was on there. You could definitely feel how smooth that this thing rides. But handling, let's see the handling. I mean, it stays flat. It is a 3500 truck, so it does have that firm suspension, which will keep you flat around turns and stuff like that. So yeah, very easy to drive considering how big this thing is. The steering is very, very light. Brake pedal feels fantastic and definitely will bring you to a stop. Turning radius, considering the size of the truck, is very, very good. So yeah, I mean, yes, while it may be a massive truck, it's still very, very easy to drive, considering it's got that light steering, it's got great acceleration, and it's got great braking power as well. But not only that, you do have very, very comfortable seats here on the interior. These seats are super, super comfortable. Now, comparing them to Ford seats, I gotta say, the Ford seats are a little bit more plush than these seats are. That's not saying that these seats are uncomfortable, because these seats are not uncomfortable by any means. These seats are very, very comfortable, but comparing them to the Ford seats are just a bit more comfortable. However, this interior is nicer than what you would find in a Ford. So it's kind of like a give and take. Yeah, you want the super comfortable seats, well, then you're not going to have the as nice of an interior. However, the Ford interior is still very, very nice, but you can't really compete here with this Ram interior. One thing that I did want to mention is the MSRP of this particular truck, and I'll throw up the window sticker on screen right now. The MSRP of this particular truck is $82,360, and for $82,360, I definitely think that it is worth it, considering you can pull almost 35,000 pounds and still pull it in style, but also pull it in comfort. So this would be a great truck for you if you guys are pulling often, or you have a hotshot trucking business where you're towing stuff all the time. Then this would be a great truck for you, because it's got all the interior creature comforts that you want on a truck like this to have, and it's very, very comfortable, and it can tow very, very well. From the videos that I've seen, like towing videos, it seems like the Cummins is the best for ease of use when it comes to towing. They just kind of just know how to tow, and basically these trucks are built for towing. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of be quiet here for a little bit. I'm gonna show you guys kind of what it feels like to drive one of these from a POV point of view. So I'm gonna be quiet here on this section of the drive so you guys can kind of just hear the motor. One thing that's pretty cool about this truck is that it kind of sounds like a tractor. So if you guys kind of hear like a John Deere tractor start up, and I know they're not the same exact motor, but they sound very, very similar. And that tractorness sound is actually really, really cool. I put a post on my Instagram story saying I really do like that sound, because it just sounds super, super cool. And these things deleted also sound very, very good as well. But like I said, just a beautiful, beautiful interior. You got that beautiful 12-inch infotainment screen right here with wired Apple CarPlay as well as wired Android Auto. So you do not have the wireless connectivity features, but you do have the wired connectivity features. And one thing that I did want to touch on before we give this truck back is that this does have the 17-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. And this thing has one of the best sound systems that I've heard really in any car, almost period. It's got the bass, it's got the clarity. So yeah, very, very good sound system. And it, like I said, if you guys want to hear one of these things, go and like sit in one at a dealership lot, ask if you can grab the keys, because I think if you guys heard this sound system, you guys will know what I'm talking about. I mean, it bumps. It really does bump, and I'm a big fan of the sound system, really, in any FCA product that has the Harman Kardon sound system, because they all sound very, very good. But this one, I got my hands on it right now, sounds really, really fantastic. So yeah, like I said, this is a great truck for those of you guys who will use this truck for what it is intended to do, which is pull and work. This truck is intended to work, and it'll definitely get the job done, and it will get the job done in comfort. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning, like I said, for 10,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without your guys' help. So if you guys would, please hit the thumbs up button, please hit that subscribe button. But with that said, I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.